January 1 of 2011, the Bush tax cuts go away. I never thought that they would go away. I thought finally Congress, even the liberal Democrats, well maybe not the liberal ones, but some of them that still had a little fear of their constituencies would say, and there is no such thing as a moderate Democrat. We can tell you that. When I went in with a guy like Heath Schuler out of North Carolina, former quarterback for the Redskins. Heath was pro-life. He talked of being a conservative economics guy, fiscal policy, blue dog Democrat. When Rahm Emanuel stood next to him, literally on the floor of the House, and I see this little pipsqueak ballet dancer, Rahm Emanuel, standing next to this big quarterback. And this quarterback has his head down, and you can see sweat beads on his forehead, hoping against hope that Rahm Emanuel won't tell him to vote the way Pelosi wants him to vote because Rahm's got enough votes. And all of a sudden you see Rahm point to him and walk away, and he votes the way that Rahm tells him. You know there is no such thing as a moderate Democrat if Pelosi's push comes to shove. And when Mark Schauer says, I'm a centrist, I will represent my district, I'm an independent voice, and he votes 96% by rating, 96% with Pelosi and Obama, he's independent from us, that's for sure. So when you add that, when you see that senior citizens that are taking dividends from their holdings, and that's being used as an addition, a supplement to their retirement with Social Security, and you know that they're going to go anywhere between 28% to 28% level to 55% level from a 15% level right now. That's a tax increase too. And I don't care whether Barack Obama and Mark Schauer say, we're not going to increase taxes. If you let those tax cuts that I supported, and I co-sponsored legislation to make those permanent, if you let those expire, that's a tax increase. Because you will all feel it. And when you have your Medicare Advantage rates increase, which you've seen already, and ultimately when you see them done away with, the Advantage program done away with the amount of cuts that have been put in that bill, and the Medicare cuts of over $500 billion. What does that say? That's all tax increases. Billy?
Good morning, Tim.
Good morning.
I think everybody in the room would agree.
I still think you need a bill on the hat.
Thank you.
Okay.
I am a practicing Presbyterian. This has nothing.
Well, I know you're a physician too, so you got to look that way.
Thank you. I think everybody in the room would agree that the United States needs jobs and growth. I think everyone agrees we need more money in our pockets. We need to get rid of the tax system which applies. We need to end the lobbying in Washington by bringing the fiscal responsibility back into the hands of the people. There is a plan that could be presented to the Ways and Means Committee that would do exactly this. You and I know what it is. It's the fair tax. But we're having a hard time getting people to understand that the fair tax really is a constitutional tax. It puts the fiscal responsibility back in the hands of the people, just as Alexander Hamilton said in the Federalist Papers, number 21. How do you feel about the fair tax, and is it possible for the Ways and Means Committee to bring this to a fair hearing?
Well, that's a perfect lead, Govi, and I'm glad you brought it up, and you know where I stand on it. I was the original co-sponsor of the fair tax when I was in Congress. I also, for Truth in Advertising, also co-sponsored the flat tax. I feel better for the fair tax. The flat tax is easier to talk about. The fair tax is also something that Mark Schauer and others can use well against a guy like me and saying, without telling the truth. They'll say, hey, Walberg wants to increase your taxes by putting a 23% sales tax on top of you.
That was an ugly ad.
Doesn't tell you that the fair tax will not be implemented unless the 16th Amendment, income tax, in the Constitution is done away with. So the income tax goes away, all federal excise taxes, Social Security, FICA goes away. All federal taxes done away with. Now that sounds a little better now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you start with no federal taxes.
Can we stop there though? And it's not
That sounds better.
Which is donation.